Werewolf bar mitzvah, spooky, scary. Boys becoming men, men becoming wolf. Werewolf bar mitzvah, spooky, scary.
Welcome to the first annual Comic-Con Flick Check Special. I'm your host, Andrew Waldman, and with me, as always, Discount Paul Schaefer. How you doing today, Paul?
Well, I'm doing alright. I mean, you called me and had me come over at 4 a.m., so a little tired, still in my pajama bottoms, but otherwise...
Good to hear it, good to hear it. Now, before I begin, I want to make a legal note that, yes, footage was screened yesterday, and I have maybe seen it. However, it will not be posted in here because I don't want copyright claims posted on my video. I already had an experience with the band U2 back in 2007, and I don't want to have another copyright issue. So, I won't leak anything illegal. I will, however, tell you about the footage. I think the best way to start is the Warner Brothers panel. They brought out director Zack Snyder.
So really just was shooting last night, jumped on a plane, came here this morning to say, give you an update, let you know how we're doing, and couldn't be happier with the way everything's going. It's super amazing, just the talent and the sets and the special effects and everything is going amazingly well, and I couldn't be happier. Normally when people come to these things, they, normally bring some shots, some footage of some kind. But we're shooting right now, so I mean. Okay. We have a teeny little thing. It's a small.
Snyder came. He introduced a clip from Batman vs. Superman, in which Batman takes the tarp off the bat signal, shines it into the sky, and it's revealed that Superman is looking down at him. His eyes glow red, he puts on his heat vision, and Batman gets ready for battle. Now, what I really liked about this, and I thought it was very impressive, it kind of kept to the goal that Snyder talked about at last Comic-Con. He talks about how it's very influenced by The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. Now, for those of you who don't know that comic story, it's about an aged Batman coming out of retirement in the distant future, and Superman is basically a puppet for the United States government. And they finally have to do battle, and Batman's old at this point, so the only way he can stand a chance against Superman is wearing an armored suit, which includes a helmet with glowing white eyes. Now, from what we've seen in the footage, it's very, very close to what we've seen in that final battle, issue 4. I recommend you read the comic. It's brilliant. It's astounding. It's very on topic for the 1980s. But it still holds up. It still holds up. So, I'm one of the people. I acknowledge that Man of Steel had its problems, but I also acknowledge that there was enough good with it to continue. Now, are they rushing? A little bit. They're rushing like a fourth grader trying to finish his spelling test so he can go to the bathroom. But I feel like they have a handle on what didn't work last time and what can work. We also got our first glimpse of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Now, I'm quoting my friend Alexa Tolentino, shout out to her, kind of looks like Xena Warrior Princess. A lot of gold going on here, and a lot of metal. I would have preferred a more classic look at the Wonder Woman costume, but I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. It's probably more realistic for what Zack Snyder's intending to do. We're not exactly sure what his intentions towards Wonder Woman are. Hopefully, he knows what he's doing. Now, after that, he brought out Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, and Gal Gadot, who promptly said nothing about the film.
I'm not giving him a microphone because I'm afraid you guys are going to ask some questions.
If you think I'm not going to take a picture of this, you're insane.
Go ahead, take a picture.
And then they left. They just left right after that. Kind of no questions, nothing, basically no information on if Dwayne Johnson has a role or Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Nothing was really confirmed, but I think they left enough footage to make us happy. Okay, and then we saw Mad Max, which came out. Well, which is coming out. They teased the footage for that. The big thing at the Warner Brothers panel yesterday was The Hobbit, The Battle of Five Armies. Now, this was hosted by Mr. Stephen Colbert, who hijacked the panel in character as his Lake Town spy from The Desolation of Smaug.
Funny guy. He's a very funny guy.
From the people in the room, Stephen Colbert basically used it to brag about his Tolkien knowledge, and I'm fine with that. Colbert's a funny guy. I look forward to him taking over The Late Show in 2015. We got a trailer for the new Hobbit movie. Not online yet.
Probably going to be online sometime this week with that Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
I'm excited. I'm hoping that this connects the franchise to The Lord of the Rings, but in a way that doesn't really ruin the end of The Hobbit for me by being too much of filler. Because the first Hobbit was good. It just felt like, let's remind you that you've seen these characters in Lord of the Rings. The second Hobbit worked because it was closer to the book, in my opinion. And while it did still tease Lord of the Rings, it kind of had enough of the material from the book to substantiate that. Now, the third book, well, not the third book, the third movie, I'm worried that it's just going to be a lot of padding, a lot of characters that weren't in the story, and I'm not going to... I've obviously read The Hobbit. I think that's like the last book I read, maybe like about a month ago. I picked it up again. But I'm very excited. I love Tolkien. I love Peter Jackson movies. We're gonna get to that. We have some more on that in a little bit. Stay tuned. That's pretty much it for the Warner Brothers panel. What did you think, Paul?
Well, I love The Hobbit, a big Tolkien fan. I've seen all the movies, read the book. Love it.
You are a Lord of the Rings fan. What's your favorite?
Probably the one with Frodo, most of them. Yeah.
Okay, next was the Legendary Pictures panel, which started off kind of unpredictably with a message from Godzilla director Gareth Edwards, who revealed that he won't be directing Godzilla 2 for a while because he is caught up with the Star Wars spin-off coming up soon. So he did say that he is doing it, and to surprise of everyone there, they actually released something for Godzilla 2. Basically just a montage of what we saw in the first film. And it also revealed that we are going to get Mothra, Rodan, and Ghidorah in Godzilla 2, which I'm very excited about. These are classic monsters. It's good to see them brought to life for the modern age. Now, here's my tip for Godzilla 2, and this is kind of something that has been done in the past with the franchise, but I think it's something that I thought really worked in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Get a new human cast. I mean, maybe if you bring back Aaron Johnson for a cameo or something, that's fine, but you show a new human cast interacting with the surrounding chaos of what's going on. I think that adds a fresh perspective, and it doesn't make the movie feel like a rehash. Because Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor Johnson, they were great in the first Godzilla movie. I just didn't really feel like there's anywhere to go with the characters. If they kept Bryan Cranston in the movie longer than they did, that would have been perfect. But I don't think that there's any realistic way to bring back Bryan Cranston, which really bums me out. Next, we had a couple looks at As Above, So Below. I think it's a sci-fi movie or something. I really know nothing about it. But the Legendary Pictures panel ended off with a surprise announcement kind of similar to the one they made about Godzilla a few years back. And it involves a movie called Skull Island. For you monster fans, I'm pretty sure you know what that means. That's right, we are getting another King Kong movie. This one called Skull Island. And if the title's any indication, it's going to be more of an origin story, just taking place on the island. Maybe show how he interacts with the villagers, why he's behind a gate, why he's 50 feet high. Who knows why? That maybe radiation poisoning or something got into there, made him grow. I think that was a Superman story at one point. I remember seeing a Superman. We already talked about Superman, that's enough. I'd love to see more of an origin. Maybe why that they have the fence up. Definitely make it stand out from the other King Kong movies. How many times can you really see him climb the Empire State Building or the World Trade Center? We've seen it at least 3 times now. In the 30s, the 70s, and... do we really have a name for last decade? The thousands? Whatever. 2005. You definitely got to make it stand out, and it's not connected to the Peter Jackson's film, as I've been led to believe. So, I feel like it really could have a chance to do something different with King Kong that we haven't seen yet outside of a book. And an interesting idea, Legendary Pictures has the rights to Godzilla, and now King Kong. Does anyone else see where I'm getting?
The mightiest monsters of the ages. King Kong. Godzilla. Locked in the most titanic battle of all time.
Last but the furthest you can be from least, we had the Marvel Studios panel, which, as expected, had AntMan and Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, I was extremely pumped for the Marvel panel because in the past they've done a lot of exciting things. They have a lot of fun with their fans, especially Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Hiddleston. Take a look.
How much do I love you?
We're in post-production of a movie called Thor: The Dark World right now, which is...
Humanity. Look how far you've fallen. Lining up in the sweltering heat for hours. Huddling together in the dark. Like beasts. Say my name. Say my name. Say my name! Say my name!
Paul, do you know how to play Luther Vandross music? Well, does Luther Vandross sound like this? I didn't think so. You know, you actually didn't do too bad with the Batman theme the other day. Where did you learn that anyway? Alright, thank you. Learned it on YouTube. You know, tutorials. Just goes to show you, folks, YouTube is a magical place. Now, the Marvel Studios panel, they revealed some footage from AntMan, which is very surprising because they haven't started filming yet. It's basically CGI. It shows that what we're going to be dealing with is Scott Lang as a hired hand for Hank Pym, the original Ant-Man. And they revealed that the villain will be Darren Cross, also known as Yellow Jacket. So, we have a lot to work with there. Also, Evangeline Lilly, very gorgeous, very talented. She has been confirmed to actually be in the film after months of speculation. Who is she playing? Hope Van Dyne, the daughter of Hank Pym. Is this an indication that we're getting the Wasp? I hope so, because the Wasp is a huge part of Ant-Man. She was one of the original Avengers, actually, back in 1964. Anyway, earlier in the day, we got our first look at the helmet that Scott Lang, played by Paul Rudd, will be wearing. Gotta say...
Looks good.
Oh, it looks good.
Looks good.
Oh, it looks good.
Looks good.
Oh, it looks good.
I had to do it. That's a shout out to my buddy Joe Hobart. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. We got our first mention of Pym particles by Kevin Feige, the smartest man in show business. Gotta say, all the trouble that's going on behind the scenes of Ant-Man, it sounds like they're doing well. They're coming back from it. I'm sad to see that we're not going to get Edgar Wright's movie, but I have faith in this, especially what they revealed about Peyton Reed.
I was a drummer for a time in the 80s in a punk band called Johnny Quest, and thank you. And in addition to being the drummer, I was in charge of drawing the flyers for the shows. And we did a show, I think, in 1988, and I drew a sort of a ripoff of Avengers #1, where all the band members were members of the Avengers. And of course, AntMan was an original Avenger, and I drew myself as AntMan. And I would love to...
Did they bring that? Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
There he is.
That's that sweet new Johnny Quest LP that all the kids are digging.
Yeah, there's going to be a big reunion.
Is that you down on the drums?
That's me flying on the twin snare drum thing.
You ever been in a band, Paul? I was in a band called the Beatles, but some other people, like from England, they came along and sued us. Of course they did. Anyway, next we had the Avengers Age of Ultron come out, and we got our first look at the footage from that. But, like I said, most of the excitement is just the entrances. Take a look. Robert Downey Jr. sure is fun, isn't he? You know, that guy's been through so much in his life. It always brings a tear to my eye to see him the way he is now. Because, good for him. Good for him. We got our first look at the footage from the film. Basically, it looks like it's going to be darker. A lot darker. I'm not going to go into details on the end of the footage, because that's a little spoilery. Come on! Spoil it! Let us see! Come on, tell us what happened! What happened? I'm not going to spoil things, Paul. It comes out in a year. You can wait for it. You can see it then. We did have a little... There was some fun at the beginning where all the Avengers are hanging out, and they're each trying to take turns lifting Thor's hammer, which no one is able to do except Captain America. He moves it just a little bit. But then Ultron enters the room and declares that no one is worthy of anything. I love the direction they're going with Ultron, you know? It doesn't sound like he's going to be a full-fledged bad guy. He sounds like he's going to try to change the world for the better, but he doesn't really have the best tactics of going about it. And James Spader, he did Boston Legal for a long time. He did one season of The Office after Steve Carell left. Honestly, I think his role in The Office qualifies him more for Ultron. He has this menacing presence. If you see The Blacklist, he's really dark, really cold, really commanding in that. So I'm really excited to see what James Spader is going to bring to the role. He actually did real good in that one Robert Downey Jr. movie from the 80s. Lesson Zero, I think it was, yeah. James Spader, yes. Very, very, very talented man. Now, this was confirmed, but not elaborated on at all. Paul Bettany, who voiced Jarvis in the first, second, third Iron Man movies and in the Avengers, is playing Vision. And that's all he was able to tell us, really. The only thing he really said was that the fact that he's playing the Vision and played Jarvis before is not by coincidence. As we all expected. Check out how tight-lipped he is.
Talk about his relationship with Tony Stark and Bruce Banner.
Well, I would do that, except I'll be fired. So I'm going to choose not to.
I'm excited to see what he does with the role. That voice is just really, really cool. And this isn't really news, but it was finally confirmed by Kevin Feige and the man himself. Josh Brolin is playing Thanos, and it looks like he already knows how to fit into the Marvel family.
Where's my rose?
Lastly, on the Marvel front, they already announced a release date for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And the first one doesn't even come out until Friday. But, like I said, I've seen the preview screening. I really love what I saw. I'm looking forward to seeing another one. So, bring it on, James Gunn. So, I love what we're seeing from Avengers Age of Ultron, AntMan, Batman vs. Superman, which I had my doubts on. Sounds pretty cool now. And The Hobbit, yes, I'm looking forward to that. One last thing, though. And this doesn't really have anything to do with movies. This is just something fun that I'm really looking forward to. The crossover between The Simpsons and Family Guy is coming up, and I love that they're both able to poke fun at themselves. Take a look.
Homer Simpson and Peter Griffin are a great team. A greater team than... keep going. Then something else? Something else? I don't know what this is. Okay, I'll do it. Homer Simpson and Peter Griffin are an even greater team than the Air Force. Hold steady, I got him in my sights. Woohoo! Yeah! Yeah, we did it. What's he doing here?
Well, we gotta carry him because he can't fly on his own. We let that other guy try, and look what happened. No!
Well, that just about does it for our Comic-Con special. Want to thank Discount Paul Schaefer for joining me again. Where can they reach us online, Paul?
Well, you know, as always, they can find us on Facebook at Flick Check with Andrew Waltman. Like, share, whatever you do with your Facebook. And on Twitter at AndWalt. Walt with an O, not an A. We get it all the time.
Alright, anything else?
Why not?
Once again, this is Flick Check. I'm Andrew Waldman, and if you're not sure about a flick, let me give it a check.
Where the hell are the singing cats?